There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on fishingbooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store, or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today.
Maui Nui is on a mission to help balance axis deer populations for the good of our environment, communities, and food systems on the island of Maui. They've shared over 126,000 pounds of nutrient-dense protein with the Maui community. Secure your spot now. Become a snack subscriber and join in helping to build more resilient food and ecosystems on Maui. Visit MauiNuiVenison.com. That's MAUINUI venison.com and use promo code BEAR for 20% off your first order.
I'm sure a lot of you guys remember the old ceremonial hunting tradition of eating the heart out of the first animal you kill. Meat from those organs are among the most nutrient-rich foods on the planet. You can get those same benefits your ancestors craved via convenient daily capsules from Heart and Soil. Find out more at heartandsoil.co. And remember, use code Meateater for 10% off your purchase.
My name is Clay Newcomb, and this is a production of the Bear Grease podcast called The Bear Grease Render, where we render down, dive deeper, and look behind the scenes of the actual Bear Grease podcast. Presented by FHF Gear, American-made, purpose-built hunting and fishing gear that's designed to be as rugged as the places we explore.
Like the South American singer?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
That's how I learned
She's not
Spanish.
South Bailey loves
Got
her.
the Vespa, boom, boom,
She's
boom.
not South Bailey knows all those
Got the
songs.
Vespa,
I'd like to begin my
Welcome
apology
to
by
the
stating
Bear Grease
America.
Render, everybody.
Where's she from?
Mexico.
Hey guys,
I thought she was from.
Hey guys. Welcome to the Bear Grease Render, everyone.
That's why we're here.
Yes, welcome. This is the Christmas edition of the Bear Grease Render.
Can we call this one the Bear Grease Reindeer then?
Oh,
Got it.
play on words there.
That was
I will
Leave it to
submit
Isaac
that
for
to
the play
Hayden.
on words.
The Bear Grease.
The Bear Grease Reindeer.
If there was a Bear Grease reindeer, it's deer season.
It would
and
be
I
mounted
shoot
up
it.
on the wall.
Man, what a group we have today. We have the standard six. I've got Brent Reeves to my left, wearing a fine pair of overalls.
Always.
And I'd say a 20% wore down Bear Grease hat. Josh Lambridge Spillmaker,
Wearing a
Looking good.
Lambridge.
wearing the Landbridge mustache himself. Misty Newcomb
Good to be here.
to your left. To your left, Isaac Neal, assistant to the producer of Bear Grease Podcast.
Yep. Just happy to be invited.
And to your left is the believer himself, Gary Newcomb. Good to see you.
Yeah, man.
But who you didn't know, who you couldn't have expected, who was going to be here, is the one and only Juju Newcomb, my mother. And I'll introduce the second person after this.
You figured that
Juju,
part out, right?
It is so fantastic to have you here.
I am really glad to be here. I'm honored to be here
I
at
would-
the annual Christmas party of Bear Grease.
Why don't you tell us what you've brought for us all?
Oh, I brought some Christmas cookies like I did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just happy to be here and send Merry Christmas greetings to all your listeners and let them know I do read all of their comments and I get on to Clay if he does something wrong or,
be nice.
or ignores something. So
Now,
just know
have I
I'm,
ever
I'm
done
helping
anything
y'all
wrong
out.
in a comment?
Oh, no, but sometimes you don't answer them.
So great to have you, Juju.
Hope y'all all have
Juju
a blessed Christmas.
Juju has brought the Christmas spirit on us today. Yes. Okay, the second guest that we have, very special guest, a first-time guest on the Bear Grease podcast, the one and only Bailey Reeves. Clapping for Bailey Reeves. This is Brent Reeves' daughter.
That's my baby.
Bailey, how are you?
Good.
What are you doing for Christmas this year?
Opening presents.
Wow, nice. Well, why don't you wish everybody Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas.
What would you say if you were giving advice to people that are going to see their grandpas, grandmas, their mom and dads, their cousins, and they're all going to get together? Like, what do they need to hear from the Reeves family that's going to like really set off this Christmas? What would you say, Bailey?
Make sure to spend as much time as you can with them because you don't know how much time you have with them. So just make
going
sure
deep.
that you spend as much time with them this Christmas.
That's good.
Love
That's
it.
very good. Well, thank you for being here, Miss Bailey.
You're welcome.
And Juju. Good job,
Good
guys.
job, Bailey.
Y'all are welcome to stay in here, or y'all can leave.
Bye.
We're gonna roll.
And Juju
Bailey's on
tore
one
a
side.
muscle getting up out of that chair. Let's roll. Good job, boo.
Good job, Bailey. Good job, Juju. Except for we would like to discourage all comments that are mean towards Clay.
Which the ones that Juju is monitoring.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put on every post I ever make. I'm gonna put on every post I ever make an asterisk that says Juju is watching. Be nice to me.
Can we just start a hashtag?
I think
Juju's
you gotta
Juju's
just,
watching?
Juju's watching.
I think
Yeah.
you got to just have her respond to all the comments.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, I've
Okay.
always thought back in the day when Clay was making videos, bear hunting videos, people would leave the worst comments.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
the worst, the meanest. Those. I guess it's PETA people. I don't know, but they're terrible. And they would say things like, "Your mom should be."
Misty's bringing the hammer.
I mean, they would say horrible things about like violent things that should be done to our kids or to Clay's mom, and they would curse her. And I thought it would be nice to have Juju read those comments out loud. And just have a video of Juju
Yeah.
reading
Wow.
these,
With
not
tears
nice in
in
the
their
sense of like, oh, this is heartwarming, but just so that they realize like Juju's a really sweet person. And before you say mean things about her and her grandkids, you should probably realize who you're talking about.
I'm fully
real.
in on that idea. Yeah, that's great.
Well, so I tell you something. I've got a few little things I want to go through on this episode. We're going to talk about the secret episode, the bonus episode of what became a 4-part series on our secret agent man, where we had R.T. Stewart, undercover wildlife agent, and then the bonus episode when I went and met with Claude Maxwell in Ohio,
Who we
This
will
is-
refer to as target number 2 only.
which is a major deal, a really major deal,
Yeah.
kind of a sensitive deal in a
Yeah.
way too.
Yeah.
So, but before we get to that, lots of bear grease hat sightings in the wild.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it started off with the guy on the Bengals and Kansas City Chiefs
Yeah.
game.
Yep.
I don't know that it started off that way. I feel like that's more of an apex. It's
Right.
kind of an apex.
Right.
It started out with good, everyday, hardworking Americans buying bear grease hats and wearing them. And then one of those good, hardworking, everyday Americans went
Going
to an
to a
NFL
Bengals
game. Yeah. Got
Yeah.
spotted.
Got spotted, and then another guy was watching a hockey game.
Yes, I saw that.
And
one.
there's a bear grease guy just giving them heck.
Yep.
And so I put that online too. And then the comments are just full of people saying, "Hey, I saw a guy
Yeah.
with a bear grease hat, and we went and talked."
Yep.
Yeah.
And listen to this: Misty and I went to Cabela's
Yes.
2 days ago.
Should
This-
you
this
say the
happened.
exact location? Because I thought this was a pretty good story too. but-
Well, I hope this person is listening.
Okay.
We're at Cabela's,
Yes.
and we're in line,
Yeah.
and a Cabela's worker goes, "I like your hat," and I said, "Thanks." And I kind of thought maybe it was a lady. I thought she might. It was just like the design.
Yeah.
And I just said, "Hey, thanks." And I just kind of kept walking. And she says, "That's one of my favorite podcasts." And I just said, "Oh, cool, yeah." And we kept walking. And Misty was like, "Don't tell her." And then I thought that was pretty cool. And she recognized the hat. with the the podcast. So
And
that
I
was pretty cool.
responded, it's mediocre. I mean,
Man, that is so.
Average at
There was a
best.
Depends on the
lady.
episodes.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of runway.
Hey, who was telling? Was it Juju that just told us a story about someone?
Yeah.
What did she say?
2 people ran into each other that were both wearing them.
And this story's told
this
to her.
story was told to her by a person who was with one of the people wearing the hats.
Gotcha.
He said that 2 guys, one that he knew and one that he didn't, ran into each other, and they started talking to each other like it was a different language.
Yeah. That's
And
cool.
Does he want the hat now? Is he trying to get in on the hat train?
Who?
The guy who related the story. Why did she get a hat? She was getting a hat for some reason.
Oh, it wasn't for that guy.
Okay.
Somebody got a hat though.
I went on a trip this weekend, flew down to Texas, Friday morning, 5:30 at the airport. There's a guy sitting there with a Bear Grease hat. Saturday night, Rockport, Texas, eating at a Mexican restaurant. A guy comes in with a Bear Grease hat.
Really? What did he order?
We left before they ordered.
Same hat,
He was
different
he was
guy.
very appreciative, very a polite young man. Maybe his name was Trevor. I asked it, and I was like, I'm going to remember this. And then,
Trevor.
I don't know. Trevor from
Love it,
Rockport,
man.
Texas.
How did you approach this guy?
I said, hey, this is weird. That's how you
the
got to
thing.
start
It's
off.
not though. If a guy
Yeah.
has a Bear Grease hat on, he wants somebody
Yeah.
to come up and fist bump it and
Yeah.
just bro out.
Yes.
Just be like, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
He received it.
Well, that's great. I love it. I love it. Third thing on the list, the moose episode of
was
Meateater.
fantastic.
Did you enjoy it?
Best
Yeah,
I
it was
loved
really good.
That was one of the better episodes.
But
I've
why
seen.
was it? Why people have said that? But like, why? It was just because you can't trust people who know you. You can't.
So
you can't
I-
even trust yourself, Josh.
You
I think
certainly
it's the
can't trust
idea of the
Brent
hunt.
Reeves.
The idea of the hunt, the fact that it's so remote, it's such a it's the kind of hunt that not a lot of people will get to do in their lives. And then you go for 9 days, and you got jack nothing, and then you get that last minute. I mean, it was like it was set up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That
Even us
you get
talking about,
yeah,
like, I didn't even remember we had that conversation
yeah.
when I said, "Man, I thought it was your year." Like that wasn't as. I mean, none of these scenes were set up scenes. Literally, we were having that conversation, and there were 2 dudes behind us who we didn't know filming us.
But
We kind of knew them.
Like
I mean,
strangers.
that is what someone who set up a hunt to succeed would say. Can we trust you? Did you plant the moose there?
Oh,
I think
you
you
have
may
that
have.
moose
I think you
flown in?
packed in the moose and you planted it there
helicoptered
just
in a
in
moose.
case.
Helicoptered in a moose.
That's all I'm saying.
dropped him in
and I
19
feel
yards
like
from you.
What's
This
funny? What's funny is that when you start saying stuff like that,
Yeah.
now like people are going to believe it.
yeah, absolutely.
We've
Take
introduced
the
this
sound
now.
bite.
I think
They
you should-
helicoptered.
I think you should cut that out.
Okay.
Well, what's funny is that I actually posted a video on the TikTok of me and Ranella in Alaska at the airport, and a Chinook helicopter comes in. True story. Chinook helicopter comes in. I video it. I turn the camera to Ranella, and I say, "That's the way we're getting in there, right?" And he says, "That's the way," which is clearly not true. This is a U.S. military, like, I want to say they said it was a $20 million helicopter.
Okay.
And so I joked that that's what was taking us in. And he said that's how we helicoptered in the animals. It was a joke.
Oh, do people
Oh.
believe it?
Well, I don't know. It was
I don't
on.
think-
It's on the talk.
I think it can only be beneficial to have people out there talking about it, spreading rumors. Then people go watch the episode, bumps up numbers. There's no bad press.
So I'm getting to the dollar bill. Dad, did you see the episode yet?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you think?
I didn't like it.
You didn't.
Whoa.
No. Because I'm sleepy. I want to take a nap.
You want to take a nap right now?
I'm retired, man. I'm not used to working.
He hates everything.
No, it was excellent. It was
I thought it was
excellent.
great.
When you told the story, I'm trying to think where I heard the story. You told that y'all were in camp, ready to go, packed up, and Ranella said, "I'm going to the possum trot
Yeah.
deal."
Yeah. And they didn't tell that part.
Yeah, to me, that was a highlight. Actually, it was real good without it.
Right.
But I enjoyed that part because it tells you a lot about Ranella, why he is where he is, is, I mean, you're worn out. You've been there 10 days. This guy's still fired up, wanting to kill something.
Yeah.
His instincts took him to the exact correct spot.
Yep.
And then turns it over to you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I thought the same thing, Dad. I really wish they had included that, because if you remember the story that I told about that moose hunt, we were all but like packing up to leave. Like we were done. We'd already like shot the ending scene of the video, and we're going home after 9 days with no moose, and like really discouraged. And then just on a whim, we don't even have time to kill a moose because the planes are coming. And Ranella, it wasn't me. I mean, I was done.
Was there some particular reason that he went to that spot?
Just it was no.
Probably
We hadn't
habit
been
at
there
that
in a few
point.
days,
Okay.
but it was the worst spot we had too. Like we'd
Man.
never seen a bull moose there for some reason, but we just hadn't been there in a couple of days.
Sure.
And so he was just like, I'm gonna walk up to the porcupine, and then I was like, well,
How
if you're
far?
gonna go,
How far was it?
probably a half mile.
So it would have been just a whole lot easier just to kick back and wait on the airplane to get there
Yeah,
and nap.
yeah. Like I thought, yeah, we were done, man. Like
Yeah.
done. And because even earlier that day, the producer had said, hey, we really can't kill a moose anymore because the planes are
Time.
coming.
Wait, so
Right.
how did you resolve it then?
Man, Renella's dead serious about hunting. Like he was
Yeah.
just like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I don't think we really plan to kill one.
Sure, but
So-
like, I mean, because the planes were coming and you shot one, did you just tell the planes not
gotcha,
to come?
Gotcha. Well, so the way it worked is the planes were coming in the morning,
Okay.
real early.
You guys
And
just
it
work
was
all
late
night?
in the evening.
They
Yeah.
worked real fast, and
And-
everybody was involved.
Well, and we were able to bump the plane back, which
Okay.
we didn't think we could do because the moose season ended. So all the hunters they had out were all trying to get home. And so it was real. It was like, well, they may not be able to get you out. If you lose your spot, it may be 2 days before they can come get you. So that's what they were worried about. But it just the way it worked out, we were able to say, hey, come later in the day. And they were like, that's no problem. So
Oh,
it ended up working out. But it was pretty incredible.
Well,
But
the antlers look awesome up on the wall in there.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
do. They do. So this is what I wanted to talk about, though. In a picture that's on the FHF Gear Instagram page, there's a picture of me glassing in Alaska, and I've got my big puffy jacket on, and I've got their new bino harness, which they've got a new bino harness they're coming out with. And at the top of that bino harness, you'll see a dollar bill, an American dollar bill. And somebody zoomed in and spotted that American dollar bill. And I wanted to explain why that was there. It was just randomly, I found it in my pocket while I was hunting. We're in the backcountry for 9 days with like 6 people. And I had the thought that if things go to pot and they don't come to get us, that this dollar bill, it would be the start of a great novel. Are you with me?
No.
6 people in the wilderness.
Okay.
That they would find on your
There's
cell phone.
one thing that represents the lost civilization that has now been destroyed. Let's say we're out in the wilderness.
Yep.
The apocalypse happens, and the earth is destroyed.
Yep. Go on.
Everybody's dead
yeah.
except for us because we're way in the backcountry, and whatever got us didn't think about us in the backcountry.
Yes.
This American dollar bill. This is the start of a novel, and it's called The American Dollar Bill.
Okay.
And
And this is what happens when you're in the backcountry too long.
For 9
Yeah.
days.
and so this dollar bill then we have to build a whole new like human order amongst like the 6 of us, you know.
Yeah.
And whoever has the dollar bill has the power.
King of the castle.
Yeah. And so the novel is about
Wasn't
the
there
treachery.
something like that in Lord of the Flies?
Lord of the Flies.
the
Yeah.
tr-
Hey,
the tr-
Gary.
Yeah.
That nap sounded a whole lot better just at any point.
Is this a sequel to American Buffalo?
in
American
some
dollar
ways,
bill.
In some ways.
Okay.
Well, we talked about this nonstop, my novel, about the treachery, backstabbing.
It's good
Okay.
to know.
And every character would reveal a part of human nature that is innate in people. But at the end, there would be like some massive redemption because it's Bear Grease.
Okay.
You with me? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm all
Well,
in.
And the good guys win in the end.
That was the main reason I kept the dollar bill close. But the second, little more functional reason was I said I would give that dollar to anybody that could find me a black bear that I could shoot.
Could you have
Did you
shot a
keep-
black bear?
Yeah, I had a black bear tag.
Did you keep the dollar?
Nobody found me a black bear that I could shoot. We saw a black bear, but it was too far, so it didn't qualify. I was like, I got to have a black bear that's like in range, that I could actually take. And if you find me that bear, this dollar bill is yours.
Where's
you
the dollar bill
Yeah.
now?
Do you still have it?
I think I spit it.
On an ice cold Coke.
It had more value up there in Alaska.
Yeah. Ready to win Mother's Day and cement your reputation as the best gift giver in the family? Give the moms in your life an Aura digital picture frame preloaded with decades of family photos. She'll love looking back on these memories and seeing what you're up to today. Even better, with unlimited storage and an easy-to-use app, you can keep updating mom's frame with new photos, so it's the gift that keeps on giving. And this is not a joke. Juju Newcomb has an Aura frame, and we share photos, and they're incredible. Also, my mother-in-law has one. We have them. They truly are really good, really high quality. The Aura frame is easy to set up. It takes just 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. It also adjusts the display depending on light levels in the room to maintain the true color of your photos. For real, the digital screen is amazing. Right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off plus free shipping on their best-selling frame when you use code BEAR, B-E-A-R, BEAR. That's auraframes.com. Use code BEAR at checkout to save. Terms and conditions apply. Sport Dog is the most recognized brand in the hunting dog training industry. Born in 2003 in Knoxville, Tennessee, Sport Dog was forged by a passionate group of hunters and dog trainers who intimately understood the challenges of the field and the special connection between hunters and their dogs. The people at Sport Dog know that having a well-trained hunting dog is more than just having a reliable partner. It's a commitment to their safety and unlocking their full potential. The Sport Dog promise to customers is simple: gear the way you design it. Every product Sport Dog builds is meticulously designed and rigorously tested in the field, ensuring it withstands the toughest conditions you and your dog may encounter. Trust Sport Dog, where innovation meets passion, to elevate your hunting experience and strengthen the bond with your local companion. Using tracking equipment on my squirrel and coon dogs is extremely important to me to track my squirrel dogs and my one old coon dog that's not very good. Get 20% off your first purchase using the code BEARGREASE. Go to www.sportdog.com/beargrease to learn more. I've had a Helix Sleep mattress for over 2 years, and it is for sure the nicest mattress that I've ever slept on. I've slept much better in the last 2 years, been more comfortable than I have for my whole life, and that's true. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including the award-winning Luxe Collection, the newly released Helix Elite Collection, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids. Take the Helix Sleep Quiz and find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes, and your personalized mattress is shipped straight to your door free of charge. Helix has several different mattress models to choose from, each designed for specific sleep positions and feel preferences. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/clay and use the code HelixPartner20. This is their best offer yet and won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. Josh, tell us about your recent
I believe that
recognition.
I have reached micro celebrity stardom.
Yes.
I was down at the river the other day on last weekend fly fishing, and the fish were biting good, man.
Okay.
We were just pulling them out left and right.
Yep.
But I moved down to a new section. It had dried up a little bit where I was at, and I moved down to a new section.
Can you drop me a pin?
No.
I'll put it on my Instagram page. I moved down to a little section. There was a guy fishing on the other side of the river, and I gave him a few yards so he could catch some fish there. But I noticed as I was walking down, he wasn't catching any fish, And I walked into the water and just went bam, 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 caught 3 fish right back to back. And he goes, "Man, you're on fire." And I said, well, I told him what I was fishing with. I said, "Try this." I said, "They're biting these really good. So tie one of those on if you got one." And he fishes. And I pulled another one out, and he goes, "Is your name Josh?" I was like, "Yeah." And he goes like, "As in the land bridge, Josh?"
Incredible.
I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I thought I recognized your voice."
Yeah.
He
Bear
recognized
Grease?
your voice?
He recognized my voice.
Wow.
Yeah, he goes, "Bear Grease is my favorite podcast, man."
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I know-
Was he wearing a
His
hat?
name was Stokes. He was wearing a
Stokes.
hat, but not a Bear Grease hat.
You hate to see it.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's great to hear.
Yep. So
Um,
I'm living large.
In any
living
language.
large. Living large. Next thing on the list, Brent Reeves is hunting my dog,
Hoot.
Hoot.
Okay.
So
How's she doing?
Brent, we live in the Ozarks in the mountains, and if you were explaining this to a kid, and you were talking about the bio, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the bioproductivity of a region,
Okay.
you would essentially be talking about at a real foundational level the richness of the soil. Literally translates into the how many animals and the carrying capacity of the land for all kind of stuff.
Yep.
Like the size of trees, the amount of raccoons, the amount of deer, the amount of waterfowl, how big deer antlers are. It all goes back to the soil. Well, in the Ozarks, my friends, is an eroded plateau, an
Weak.
uplifted plateau that was bumped when the South American continent bumped into the North American continent.
Have you ever heard
bulged.
this, Misty?
This is. I'm going to start a new podcast called Orogeny,
Oh
Maybe not.
That's
No,
scary.
thank you.
mountain forming process.
I feel uncomfortable.
no!
Okay, so the Springfield, it's called the Springfield Plateau, which
I'm
was a
familiar.
bulged section of land that eroded. So the Ozarks were formed by erosion, which means all the good stuff left.
No one
Where'd
is
it
having
go?
fun right now.
Oh, I'm fully in.
But where'd it go?
How many times has he heard this
Went-
story?
I'll
the
tell you
Delta.
exactly where it went.
Thank you,
It
Josh.
went into the Gulf coastal region, the basically the Mississippi River Delta.
Okay.
It literally formed the dirt of Louisiana.
Okay.
Come on,
And so the raccoon hunting is better down there. is
that's
what-
exactly
is
right.
where we're
All the
going.
soil's down there.
I
So
wish
Brent lives-
you were down there hunting because I had to cull through the hides that were left, and I only got enough for 4 more hats.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
So Brent lives in the Delta region of Arkansas. So Arkansas will be split into like the mountainous regions and the Delta region, which would be influenced by the great rivers of the heartland of America. The primary river being the Mississippi River, but also the White River,
Arkansas.
Black River, Arkansas River,
Cash River.
Cash River, Cash Money River. And so Brent hunts in the flat country where there's a ton of coons. So he took my dog. I said all that to say, life's connected, Josh. It's connected.
Erogeny is why he has your dog.
That's a terrible
Throwing
word.
that
Exactly.
word around.
It's a terrible word.
Mountain. Look at this. Hold on. I've got a book here that it would explain it
You
all.
got more than one.
The Appalachian Ouachita Orogen in the United States. See that textbook right there? That's as thick as
Yes.
your thigh.
Yep.
I've never read it, but it's it has that word in it.
Yeah.
Mountain forming processes. Brent,
Yep.
you're hunting Hoot. How's she doing?
She did good. Night before last, I went over to the farm. We cut her loose, or I cut her loose. Man, she hunted good. She hunted out 350 yards, made a big loop. Kind of bumped something a little bit. May have been a deer, may have been a rabbit. I don't know what it was. Which
She barked a little.
she barked a little bit, but it's good. It doesn't really matter. If she's got all the tools, if a dog's got all the tools, the only other thing that you need is the desire for it to go. And she has that desire to go. So even if she's chasing off game, I can fix it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if she's got the hunt, you're halfway there.
Yeah.
So we go out and she comes back and move over to a different spot and turn her loose. And it's cold, man. I know a lot of folks up north hunt when it's below freezing and stuff, and they're treeing coons on the outside of trees. But down here, if it gets below 32, coons get scarce on the outside.
In the Delta.
In the Delta.
Up here, it's a little different.
In the Delta is all I'm speaking about right now. So, and if it gets 28, if it's 28 and below, if you catch a coon on the outside, he's probably laying dead on the highway. I mean, because you just don't see them out there. They're in the den to stay warm. So it's hovering. It's like 34 degrees, and she's circling and barking, and she's real excited. I know she's smelling a coon because I'm watching her. I watched her on the Garmin, the way she fed that or struck that track, and you can tell the way she's just moving, just in little intricate left and right and zigzags, and she's moving real slow. So you know she's not chasing something that she's seeing. She's on an actual track. She's smelling a coon. She gets to one spot, man, and she doesn't locate. She doesn't do the long ball locate. She just starts barking, and then she stops. So I slipped in. I snuck in there with my red light on. She ain't paying any attention to me, and I got within about 40 yards of where she's at, and I look up in the tree, and I find the coon. Coon's looking right at me, and she is right beneath it, but it's a leaning tree. So, and the coon is like from the trunk of the tree is out probably 20 feet, and probably 20 feet off the ground. So the coon's been there a long time. You can tell he's in a big, comfortable place where coons would lay up when it's cold like that. So she just couldn't locate where it was at. She could smell the scent in the air, but she couldn't smell where the coon went up the tree. So, which was really a feat in itself because the track was so old. So she did really good. So, but I didn't knock the coon out to her.
Yeah.
And she eventually quit it, and we went on home. All positive. She did good. Last night we went, I turned her loose, and she absolutely scalded the hair off of 2 deer.
That's my Hoot.
She put them down the road.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I know 100% it was a deer because she took off, struck, and she started making a loop. She started coming back to me, and I stepped out in this old woods road, turned my red light on, and a big old doe deer come smoking across, and Hoot was right behind her.
I'll be darned.
So, which it's fine. She didn't run it that far.
Yeah.
She stopped.
I'd love to see her tree a deer.
She come on back to me. I moved down, and she did another one. And that time I give her a little correction on the collar to stop, and she stopped. And she come back to me, and we went on.
How'd she hunt after that?
Fine.
Did she keep hunting?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Man, I remember one
she's got
time
some
when I
drive.
was hunting Fern, R.I.P. Fern. It was one of the first times I went with another good coon hunter that had a good dog.
Mm-hmm.
And Fern was probably 11, 12 months old, and turned her loose, and it was full moon night, and she just scalded, as Brent said, something that was not a coon, because they just took it out across, or she by herself just took it out across a wide open field, just barking every breath. I mean, it just sounded like she's about to catch this thing. I mean, ran it out of hearing, Yeah. And I mean, it was like no doubt it was trash game.
Right.
And I was kind of upset about it, just kind of like, doggone it, why'd she do that? And my buddy was like, Clay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she wore that thing out. So she had the desire, she had the want,
Right.
she had the go. And because like Brent said, you can break them off game, but you can't put that fire in them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so eventually broke her off deer. But even as good as Fern was at treeing coons, she would run. I never really could figure it out if it was deer or coyotes, but till she was about 5 years old, about once or twice a winter, she'd just smoke something that wasn't a coon.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, and it wasn't
I didn't never said that while she was alive.
the stimulation.
I didn't ever admitted it.
The stimulation I sent her on that collar, it was not pain compliance. All that does is enough to break her concentration.
Yeah.
So it wasn't nothing that would even.
Misty has one of those for me.
Well, you need to turn that one up.
Yeah.
Because he tells that story about the Washita
All the time
Mountains again.
I'm talking to her, and it's like I just kind of like wince. I don't really feel pain, but I just feel like restarted, and then she asked me to do something, and I just do it.
She breaks your concentration. That's all. That's all. But
So Brent's hunting Hoot.
Yeah.
And hey, you've been coon hunting quite a bit though.
Oh yeah. We had some folks come down, some folks that participated in a contest we had with the Bear Hunting Magazine and Blood Origins. And some folks came down they live up here in northwest Arkansas. Ryan and Heather Harris came down, and we hunted with Michael with Sunspot Lights. We hunted over there. Where we hunted. And let's see, Josh, Isaac, you guys were
They
all
just
there.
put a coon hunting video up that we filmed last year.
Yeah, we were there.
Oh, really?
We were there at that place, and Tree. I think we hunted 2 nights. It was cold and rainy, and we treated, I think, 11 or 12 coons both nights. I mean, total,
Wow.
So it was. We hunt a lot though.
That's good. That's
Good
good.
stuff.
Talk to me about the coon skins.
Well, I've got 6 hats made, and I went to go start what I thought was going to be 6 more, but we're kind of digging into the bottom of the barrel of the coon hides. They're getting a little small and scraggly down there. They send those hides back all strung together, and it's like I wasn't real strategic about the first ones I was grabbing out.
Yep.
But somehow they got all the bad ones in the middle, and all the nice ones on the outside. Because I started grabbing them, like, wait a minute, I can't get it. So I've got enough. I cut enough pieces that I got 4 more coming.
So how many hats do we have?
That'll be 10.
10. 10 hats.
Yeah.
Not counting the one I have.
Including that one.
Including
And
that
I've got that my first prototype. I can probably turn into a useful one too.
Okay.
What about if I got you a couple of possum skins? Could you make a hat with that with the naked tail?
Could or would?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
There's a
I look
difference
forward to
between
seeing those.
Heavy
ability
on the
and
could, low on the wood.
I look forward to seeing those. Let's talk about the topic at hand. This 4th episode that
Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. How do you think? It's hard to gauge what people would think about it. I mean, I got a lot of feedback on it, but just you would have had to have listened to all the episodes to kind of get why this was significant.
Yep.
And it was significant for me to go and meet with Claude, who I'll just start off at the very beginning and just say I had a ton of respect for him for meeting with me, and I did my best to really show the character that this guy has. And I mean, the whole point of meeting with him and showing who he was today is to show that you hear about somebody that's a poacher, bad poacher, you would think a certain way about who that person would be. I mean, especially in a day with internet and internet forums, and just we label people so quickly of who this person is. And then when you see somebody that the result, or 30 years later, they're not who you thought they would be, I think that's real healthy for us to not be so quick to really bring judgment on somebody, And so it was real interesting going to meet with Claude, who I really do have a lot of respect for. What do you guys think?
I listened to it twice, and I felt like, such an incredible story from both sides, but I really felt like Claude was kind of the hero of the story. I mean, not just because he got his story out, we can look at it and say, well, he really wasn't that bad of a guy. He had 74 game violations, but he really wasn't that bad of a guy. But I appreciated so much how transparent he was about everything, and how he didn't let that thing define him.
Right.
And he didn't carry resentment, but instead he literally made an overnight change of who he was and how he was going to live the rest of his life. And man, that thing opens up doors. I feel like the decisions that he made opened up doors for success in business, success with his family. Who knows what it could have done to his marriage, But now you look at him now and you think, that's not something that just happened, but really that his life was the product of those decisions 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And that makes that guy a hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
The system didn't reform him. His choices reformed him.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
If we were all known, if our biography or if our label was all from the worst day that we ever had, how many everybody you see would be bad. That guy did something and he learned his lesson, and then he became obviously a very important part of that community, which puts him in my community and yours. If we're hunters, we're all in that community. He proved that what was set out to do worked. And that that guy's welcome to go hunt with me anytime. I read a book about Neil Armstrong. For years, he wouldn't do any kind of interviews. Wouldn't do anything. Wouldn't talk about anything as far as him going, being the first guy on the moon. And he was up in his 70s, early 70s when they wrote this book, when he authorized this book to be. And the guy was interviewing him and asked him why he didn't cash in on being the first guy to step on the moon. Because once he came back, he got out of the space program and he went and taught at a college in Ohio, taught engineering. He didn't do book tours. He didn't do speaking engagements. He didn't do anything about it. And the guy told me, so he didn't think it was right for him to receive all the accolades when it was took nearly 400,000 people working together to get him to the moon. And he said there was nobody in that system that was that he wasn't as important as anybody else, or more important than anybody else in it. And he did not want to be known for one singular accomplishment when he had lived his whole life. That was something he did one day. And you can look at this the same way.
Yeah, so that's like the positive,
absolutely
positive side of it, but also you can apply it to the negative.
Yeah, and I don't have any sympathy. I have empathy for him because it affected his whole family. But I wouldn't want to be known for just one singular thing. If I was going to be known for one singular thing, it wouldn't have anything to do with my work. It would have something to do with my relationship.
What did you do that was so bad?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that yet. Are we under subpoena? I think it was good. It's a great lesson, and I'm really pleased and proud that the guy did what he did. That's pretty good. Took some guts.
I think there's an interesting conversation to be had about the nature of the justice system and how it often functions versus how we say it is to function, right? We aspire to have a restorative justice system where you have transgressed, you go through this, and you don't do that anymore. Like, that's what the system is supposed to be set up. Oftentimes, we don't approach it in that way, and I think that's a rabbit hole that we could go down, and there's no point in doing it because it'll take forever and probably not produce much fruit. But this is a perfect example of restorative justice. Like, he's guilty. He said it so on the podcast. But then that, to me, and I think probably to you, which is why you did this episode, is less interesting than how he reacted once that happened. And we can see that throughout the fruit of his life. You talked about it with his kids, how he has good relationships with his kids who are productive members of society. I think the bowling alley is an incredible example. Not to say that it's altruism or whatever. Like, it's a business, right? But the idea that he invested in this thing, in this small community, and it's like, it's going to provide an outlet for kids and people to have these are all examples of like the fruit of changing and going in a different direction and saying, I'm going to be a productive member of society. I'm going to give back to society.
Yeah.
I felt like you made a very compelling case in the podcast about this, so much so that when we got to the point where it was like, Andy lost his hunting license forever, I was like, dang. That, like, I mean, it hit me. Like, I was like, that sucks. Like, he seems like such a great dude. It sucks that he can't hunt anymore. And then, like, obviously we resolved that in the nature of the story. And I just felt like it showed the powerful impact of hoping for redemption in a story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, a side thing, this may be speaking out of term, but I just, speaking to the listening audience, like Claude didn't ask for any of this to happen to him, the podcast.
Right.
And I feel like you had mentioned that it was turning a lot of attention on him. And so I think it'd be cool to appeal to the audience to say, if you are in a position to go there or interact with him, like, be cool.
Yeah.
And even if even if it's a positive thing, if you want to support him, just remember that he didn't ask for any of this attention.
Yeah.
This happened years ago. Like the old guy outside of the sporting goods store said, like, you're talking about it like it happened yesterday. This happened years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
man, I really did apologize to Claude. And when you record an apology and listen to it, you sometimes wish you'd have done it different. So
you're going to do it again?
Well, no. For me, it was interesting. I actually talked to Steve Ranella about it.
Yeah.
I said, I was getting his advice on kind of how to handle this thing. And I told him, I said, man, it never even occurred to me that these guys would still be here. I mean, I don't know why I thought like all poachers are like old and not here anymore.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And like all these guys are still here.
Well, and there was some like modicum of respect for that because we removed names from.
That's right.
But it just feels so removed. Like, why would they hear about it or what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it kind of even goes into the idea of how you handle a criminal, quote unquote, like someone who's been. It's just like they're not as an important.
They
part
are a
of
pariah.
this.
They are to be cast out of society.
Well,
in
not
terms
even
of
that
like
far, but just
no. I mean, like in terms of the social graces that we afford them.
Right. Yeah. And
Like-
so I told Ranella, I said, it never even occurred to me that these guys were still around. And he laughed and he said, Clay, as a writer, you always have to assume that they're very much alive. And he laughed, and I was like, noted. And not that I would have done anything different. I mean, like I just wouldn't have not like the story was interesting to me, and we had access. So much of these stories we tell have a lot to do with access to people, and that's something that people probably wouldn't understand from the outside. Because I get stuff almost every day with people saying, hey, you should do a podcast on this, or they see we're interested in something like this, and they say, oh, then you'd be interested in this. So much of it has to do with just access that you almost can't script. And we're up there with Chip Gross, our good buddy Chip Gross, and he goes, hey, I wrote a book. I have
we were up there
access-
for Lou Wetzel, the Death Wind.
Louis Wetzel, yeah.
Yep.
And he
Mr. Gale's
goes,
brother.
I have access to RT Stewart. If I talk to RT, he'd talk to you. And so we go and do it, and it's a fascinating story. And I loved it. And we went out of our way to hide the identities of these people, which in the book it didn't. And so I felt
So
like
it says his name in the.
Oh, yeah.
And I felt like we
know
were
that.
going kind of above and beyond.
Well, on the way down here, I was talking to my buddy Nathaniel, who got us that Turkey Call article from
Right.
1996.
Right.
And he said he was going through the article, the Turkey Call, NWTF's publication. It published their names.
Yeah.
It's still out there, you know?
Yeah. So it's not like we uncovered something that wasn't known. But I'm going back to my apology to Claude.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. I said I'm sorry for what the attention this might have brought to you. You know, but I really feel like how he handled himself on the podcast was noble.
Honorable.
I really do, and I hope that it brings. We talked about his businesses and stuff, and I mean, if you want to support them, go buy a.
Go bowling.
Go bowling, go buy
I thought
dinner, go buy. So let me say something, though, before I forget it. This burns me more than anything, is I said the name of the restaurant is the Blue Bell Restaurant in McConnellsville, Ohio. I said Blue Bird.
Blue Bell.
It's Blue Bell. So that was my bad. So that is an official correction.
You also said
Which-
repercussion and crawdad, which are both wrong. It's repercussions and crawfish.
No.
Crayfish?
Let's hold on. We'll come back to this. So the restaurant, holy cow, for real. If you're in McConnellsville, or if you were within an hour and a half of McConnellsville, I'd drive there to eat breakfast.
Really?
Yeah. It's fantastic breakfast. Great atmosphere. And everybody in that restaurant wanted to talk to Claude Maxwell.
Really?
I mean, nobody knew who. I mean, I was just sitting there. I was just a dude sitting there. Everybody wanted to talk to Claude. Everybody that walked by was trying to get his attention. It's like he's that kind of guy.
Awesome.
He really is.
That's great.
And he. So anyway, deepest apologies.
I mean, that's
to Adrian.
honorable. That's honorable. It's an honorable life.
And that's when I realized that we probably weren't the most popular crew for bringing this all back up on the national stage.
Rubbing a little salt in it.
Well, I mean, for real, it's been gone for 30 years. So that, like I said, it just
I bringing it back to like the fact that like we're not putting our stamp of approval on poaching. What is so interesting is the redemption, the choices that he made after, and I think that like one of the pieces of evidence for his change is his willingness to go on record and talk to you and be like, hey, I was wrong, but here's my life now.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a privilege. I don't want to lose sight of the fact that it was a privilege to get to tell this story and a privilege that he chose to give you time and to, I don't know. I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah. Ready to win Mother's Day and cement your reputation as the best gift giver in the family? Give the moms in your life an Aura digital picture frame preloaded with decades of family photos. She'll love looking back on these memories and seeing what you're up to today. Even better, with unlimited storage and an easy-to-use app, you can keep updating mom's frame with new photos, so it's the gift that keeps on giving. And this is not a joke. Juju Newcomb has an Aura frame, and we share photos, and they're incredible. Also, my mother-in-law has one. We have them. They truly are really good, really high quality. The Aura frame is easy to set up. It takes just 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. It also adjusts the display depending on light levels in the room to maintain the true color of your photos. For real, the digital screen is amazing. Right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off plus free shipping on their best-selling frame when you use code BEAR, B-E-A-R, BEAR. That's auraframes.com. Use code BEAR at checkout to save. Terms and conditions apply. Sport Dog is the most recognized brand in the hunting dog training industry. Born in 2003 in Knoxville, Tennessee, Sport Dog was forged by a passionate group of hunters and dog trainers who intimately understood the challenges of the field and the special connection between hunters and their dogs. The people at Sport Dog know that having a well-trained hunting dog is more than just having a reliable partner. It's a commitment to their safety and unlocking their full potential. The Sport Dog promise to customers is simple: gear the way you design it. Every product Sport Dog builds is meticulously designed and rigorously tested in the field, ensuring it withstands the toughest conditions you and your dog may encounter. Trust Sport Dog, where innovation meets passion, to elevate your hunting experience and strengthen the bond with your local companion. Using tracking equipment on my squirrel and coon dogs is extremely important to me to track my squirrel dogs and my one old coon dog that's not very good. Get 20% off your first purchase using the code BEARGREASE. Go to www.sportdog.com/beargrease to learn more. The old timers say that the turkeys start gobbling when the leaves are as big as squirrels' ears and the red buds start popping. And we're about there. And we are there in the South. The Onyx Hunt app is one of my most valuable tools in the spring woods. With tools like coniferous versus deciduous tree distribution layer, you can save time by locating edges or transition areas of mixing habitats from home. Find an area like this with water in close proximity, and more than likely, there will be a gobbling turkey nearby. Knowing the exact boundaries of private ground ensures I stay on the right side of the fence, but can easily find public ground to go see if I can't strike a gobbler. If you do get one to sound off, using compass mode and waypoints will help you pinpoint his exact location, allowing you to move in and make the perfect setup to bring him right into your lap. Download the Onyx Hunt app today. You'll be glad you did. Onyx has a special offer for you. Use code BEARGREASE to receive 20% off your membership at onyxmaps.com/hunt this spring. What'd you think, Dad?
Well, y'all done a nice job covering it. I would just say that he was the exact same guy when he was doing this. RT saw that. He was a
Right.
good guy.
Yes.
He just was got involved with peer pressure
Yep.
and felt like it wasn't that big of a deal, even though really he knew it was a big deal. I feel like, I mean, you just know it's breaking the law, but he had all the inner workings and hidden mechanisms to be successful in this life. And he took a little detour, and the detour brought him back probably to his destiny he was going to have anyway, and made him probably better, is what I thought.
Yeah.
But RT saw it. He was a quality guy. He had a lot of stuff going for him.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder when RT talks about having that urge to call him and tell him that the raid was happening, what would have been the trajectory of his life if he had warned him or something
I
of
thought
that
about
nature.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he would have eventually had that break, or if this was the thing that he needed to, all right, let's get the ship headed in the right direction now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not, things like this aren't clear. Like, I agree with what Dad said. And if there's one thing that I could do, not different, but if you were just telling a more complex story, I don't think target number 2 back in 1994 was necessarily a bad guy. Like, it wasn't like he had, I think you talked to him and it'd be the same Claude I talked to, just a little detour. And, like he said, he didn't view himself as a bad person. I mean, he wasn't. So what would have happened if this would have been prolonged for a period of time? Like, probably would have grown out of it. Probably he would have.
Yeah.
There would have been pressures that would have come around his life where he's like, okay, I'm going to have to do stuff different.
Yeah.
This was just a hard smack. And, you got to be careful how you say this stuff because, I'm playing both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
Like, I'm promoting law enforcement and RT and what the Ohio DNR did. Or, I'm telling their story like, hey, this is good stuff. But now I'm also interested in Claude's story. And honestly, I feel loyalty to both of them.
Yeah.
And so it's it felt tricky on the inside of me being loyal to both sides of this story.
Duplicitous.
Well, maybe not. But it was probably one of the most interesting situations I've been in since I've been doing this here podcast.
You shouldn't feel torn one way or the other because it worked out like it's supposed to.
Yeah, you did a great job with it.
It's the people that I'm most concerned about.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody was doing wrong. The law went in. They took care of it. The guy paid his debt. It's over with.
Yeah.
Unless he.
Unless they make a podcast about you 30 years later.
Yeah, it was over with.
Yeah, it was over with.
That's the part I feel bad about.
Yeah.
It could work out for him better though. I mean, it's a flip a coin. Something good could come from this.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I hope
for sure.
What's the name of the town?
Universe happens.
What's the name of the town?
McConnellsville.
McConnellsville. I smell a target number 2 coffee shop.
Yeah. Mate, McConnellsville's a great town. McConnellsville's a great town. It's right on this big river.
What do you think
big fishing community?
What do you think the contention of Bear Grease listeners within an hour and a half of McConnellsville is? How many?
I have no idea.
Are you thinking
172?
1,000?
72. There's one Bengals fan we know that listens to Bear Grease.
That's right.
In Ohio.
Yeah.
I like Ohio though.
Can we get all of them to go there, not ask for Claude, not be weird about it, just buy some stuff from his
and
store?
leave big tips.
Yeah, big tips.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a sharp family, man. And the
was there a rooftop place?
Yeah, there's a pizza place, real nice. I called the pizza place one day to I was actually trying to get a hold of it was before I had an official introduction to Claude. and it was the best voicemail. It was like after hours or something. It was before they opened during the day, and it was like super polished and professional. My mouth was watering by the time I got done. Incredible. Like it was like giving you the menu. It was like, thanks for calling Maxwell's Pizza. Da 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 da. Try our cheese sticks. Da da da. I mean, it sounded like a major national franchise.
Absolutely.
And I was like,
you forgot why you were calling. You were like,
Romantic
I'll
pizza.
take a.
did y'all deliver to Northwest Arkansas? But it was good. Dad, what were you going to say?
He survived for a lot of reasons. One thing, he's smart guy, but he had two good families, two really good families, and I mean that tells you a lot about him. He's got two good families, and he had a wonderful wife. I mean, his wife was unbelievable. I mean, she saw the whole thing, and because of that, here's our resident expert here. Misty.
Because
I mean, really, Judy, I just marvel almost daily as I get older and wiser of how Judy is right so many times. And she can move me and direct me and, get me pointed in the right direction. And
What did you do that was so bad?
well, it's
Juju's
a long
writing
story.
a book.
It's every day. It's every day is what I'm talking
It's a 3-part podcast for another time.
It's every day. I mean,
Wouldn't it be awesome if Dad was like a criminal and we could do a podcast series
That
about
would be
him?
great. Do you mind committing some crimes?
What if the
Something
twist
real
is
intriguing.
Brent
You
is
can do
actually
the undercover.
undercover. He's
Trying
only
to get Gary.
He's only become friends with you to
I'm
get
target
Gary.
number 2. He's target number 1.
Hey,
Go ahead, Dad. I'm sorry.
But to finish it off, I mean, I want to hear what a wife and a mother thought about this deal.
Misty, what do you think?
Okay.
Oh, wow, she's got notes.
I don't have notes. I wanted to make sure I quoted it right. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who've been trained by it. Therefore, strengthen your feeble arms and weak knees. Make level paths for your feet, so that the lame may not be disabled, but rather healed. And I think that discipline, punishment, consequences can either cripple a person.
I'm applauding. You are supposed to applaud. That was a mic drop. That was a mic drop statement there.
It can either, completely destabilize and destroy a person.
Tennyson?
I think that's the New Testament.
Oh, okay.
Can either destabilize and destroy someone, or can cause them to become more stable, to become stronger. Can be trained. You can be trained by it. And I think there's kind of two pieces here. He was trained by discipline, but you saw how it nearly ruined his life. I mean, the way he talked about the depths of despair that he went into, and I don't think you even covered that as much as your conversation would have led on. But so there is something in him that responded to that well. And I think what Gary says is right. I think his wife really helped him. I think just from the stories, his family, he was pulled forward by the things he did have left. But I think that, you can have difficult circumstances, the consequences of your own actions, whatever you want to call it, can completely destroy a person. But I think it speaks to his character, and I think it speaks to the strength of the people around him, that he was able to allow this to be something that changed him.
Yeah.
But I do think it changed him.
Yeah.
Also, he if he had been just average Joe poacher, it wouldn't have bothered him that much.
Mm-hmm.
It really bothered. I mean, he beat on himself so hard, but he was smart enough and had the support to pull out of it and come back like a racehorse.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he came
did,
out of there
man.
running
He really
wide
did.
open.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's the thing, that when something negative comes on you, so many people would fold in bitterness, or they would have set out to try to prove to the man that they didn't have to stand under his authority. I mean, really, a lot of guys that get caught end up getting embittered, and they spend the rest of their life trying to just like
in and out of
Or
trouble.
don't even care. Just go, holy cow. All right, so I got caught, and just keep doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah,
it really bothered him, which tells you what we've said. He was a quality guy.
Yeah.
Quality
He was.
guy.
And that brings me back. I actually now remember what I was saying when I was saying I'm playing both sides of the fence. About 10 minutes ago I was talking about that. Is that though McConnellsville folks, not Claude didn't tell me this. It's just what I felt when I was there. They all felt like they came down real heavy-handed on these guys, trying to make a statement to the world, make an example out of them, which we all know is true, and that happens.
Well, that's effectively what you were talking about with your caribou and wolf analogy.
Right.
Like it may seem harsh in the moment, but and it's unfortunate for this population or that single caribou, but I don't know if I'd use the word necessary, but it does send a message to poachers in general.
And this is where you have to be careful, because it's not like you're being, somebody can say, well, you're being soft on poachers if you feel sorry for these guys that were breaking the law, that did get caught, and the heavy hand of the law came down on them. And you might say, well, they were guilty of every bit of it. Well, you know what? I've hunted without hunter's orange before and didn't get a ticket for it.
That ain't over with. Keep going.
No, you see what I'm saying? I mean, literally, there's a guy, and I know what it feels like to have a guy undercover following you.
Yes.
Because he's here right
every
now.
single thing you do down, and then having to give recompense for every, like, it was heavy-handed. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying it's kind of a bummer for Claude. Kind of a bummer for all these guys. And that's kind of the consensus of the community. And I think we'd be the same way. If that had happened to by us, I mean, just somebody in our
Louis, Dylan,
community.
Charlie.
Well, it's I mean, going back to
story.
restorative justice versus punitive justice, it's like the thing that is compelling about restorative justice is it makes our community better. The thing that's problematic about punitive justice is that we often want punitive justice for other people, but we want restorative justice for ourselves, because we know the story and we can tell a different story of why it was okay that we did it or apologize for it. It's like we want justice, quote unquote justice, for them, but we want grace for ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to have a system that trends towards restorative justice. And that's why we like stories like this, where it's like, it worked.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that, honestly, what I don't know if what you're saying is actually, I don't know that our justice system is designed or that people want it to be. And you're using the word restorative. I think in justice literature, it'd be more rehabilitative. Like when you're looking at drugs, there's a big conversation of, are we trying to rehabilitate these guys? Are we trying to punish them for the crime they did? And that's a big, huge question that people are trying to figure out. And I think that, I don't know that it's like determined, we want to rehabilitate criminals. I think, we have the death row, we have life sentences, and those are not rehabilitative in nature. So I'm not sure that is a decision that's been made by the American public, or I think that's just a conversation that keeps happening. But I think that's the point. Like, I don't think it's like a done and everybody agrees we need to be rehabilitating criminals. I think it's a national conversation that is unresolved.
And we're probably giving way too much credit to the punitive action in this specific thing. Like, and to Dad's point, I don't think it was, all that happened to him that turned Claude into who he was. Claude was who he was.
It was a wake-up call.
It was just,
Because there's probably guys on that same team who had similar consequences who did not change by it. That's kind of what I'm trying to say is I think that there's something in you have a choice about how you respond even to those kinds of things.
That's why I love Claude Maxwell.
Exactly.
Because he responded correctly to getting smacked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not for anybody else's sake, but for his own. I mean, he just went forward and has done well. And him doing well, to me, I said it on the podcast, but I'll say it again, doesn't have anything to do with business success, but like he was an intact man. He's been married for however long, I mean, decades. And you know a lot about somebody when you meet their grown children.
Yeah.
And watch them interact. And I mean, for real, like, just intact people.
Hey, one of my favorite parts of the whole thing was the story about the little boy thinking everybody was having a party and him trying to show him how to get the
I knew
crawdad
that.
going.
That was good.
Yeah,
I thought that was good.
Yeah,
he
it
was
was
pumped
good.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like his dad too. I mean, he's a pretty sharp cat. He said, "Dad, you need to do this," and I think he was right. I think this is going to help him some way. I think something good will come from this. So,
I deeply hope so. Claude would be welcome on the Bear Grace Render anytime. Or Cass, his son, any of them. Cass is super sharp. The other thing that I didn't do real well is the bowling alley and the restaurant are actually Cass's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we just had such a short production window for this one because I just went there and then just turned around and did it. And I just wasn't able to clarify some of that stuff, but I should have done a better job at that. But fantastic series. I think it was real. Like that's what was kind of unique about it is that this wasn't a fabricated story, real story. All the stories are real, but it kind of happened in a way that surprised me even. So, Bear Grease, baby.
I like it. Any foreshadowing of what's coming up?
Woo! Yeah. Hold on. You'll see this right here?
Yes.
This was made by a famous Arkansas duck call maker. Brent, do you know the name of that? Do you know that name?
I'm trying to read it. I can't.
Jim Stinson.
In Clarendon?
Yeah.
hey, let's hear a duck call.
That's a beautiful duck call, by
What'd
the
you blow
way.
on it, Brent?
Let's hear a duck call.
That's pretty.
Excellent.
Look out.
Awesome.
Here they come.
That is the only foreshadow you get. That is the only foreshadow you get. Man, hey, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you.
Into all a good night.
Thanks for listening.
We didn't sing.
I think that'll be okay.
Everybody pick your own song and start on the count of 3.
Yeah. Well,
Lukenbach, Texas.
I hope everybody
Christmas
has a
song.
great Christmas. I hope all of you have a great Christmas that are here in the room. And I think the next Bear Grease Render will be after the first of the year, 2023.
Wow.
Time
Man.
just marches on. I think John Anderson had a song about that.
Years?
Nope.
Nope.
Tracy
Tracy Lawrence.
Lawrence, yeah.
Sing it, Brent.
I can only sing the John Anderson version.
Come on.
I don't know it.
All right. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas
And a Happy New Year.
and a Happy New Year.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Hoo-ah.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in our horse
Well,
open
kids,
sleigh.
I hear y'all
Jingle
in.
bells, Bear Grease smells, marmalade and egg.
I had a stroke.
I'm sure a lot of you guys remember the old ceremonial hunting tradition of eating the heart out of the first animal you kill. Meat from those organs are among the most nutrient-rich foods on the planet. You can get those same benefits your ancestors craved via convenient daily capsules from Heart and Soil. Find out more at heartandsoil.co. And remember, use code Meateater for 10% off your purchase.
Outdoor adventure won't wait for engine problems. Things like hard starts, rough performance, and lost fuel economy are often caused by fuel gum and varnish buildup. Seafoam can help your engine run better and last longer. Simply pour a can in your gas tank. Hunters and anglers rely on Seafoam to keep their engines running the way it should the entire season. Pick up a can of Seafoam today at your local auto parts store or visit seafoamworks.com to learn more.